Hello, class. I hope that you're doing well. I didn't get many questions. I don't know if I got any questions this week, so I just wanted to reach out and sort of reiterate some things with regard to the diversity and use of self-paper, um, as well as making any comment as you start on this task group. First of all, let me say, I hear you with regard to the workload, and I certainly understand. This caused me to reflect on a couple of things. First of all, I never compare, students' pursuit of MSW now compared to the time that I was pursuing an MSW. But I was reflecting on my time, and I was thinking about, the visits that I had to make to the library, or, the personal time that I had to spend in group work. And I think that, my time in graduate school benefited me in certain ways, just as your time in graduate school is benefiting you in some ways. But I do think that that the blessings should be put in perspective. Like you having the opportunity to convene groups via Zoom, or search for materials in the library from afar. But then you don't have certain things. And so, I say this to say that, I do understand. I hope that you are continuing to look at things from a strengths-based perspective, because that's what we ask our clients to do, right? We ask our clients, despite it all, you have to continue to persevere. And in my practice, with the athletes that I work with as of late, I've been trying to do that myself. It's almost as if I'm setting goals in my mind while I'm setting goals with them, because I can't ask them to do things that I'm not willing to do. And I do still believe that at the end of the day, an MSW is not about grades, although they're important. It's about being a good social worker. And it's sometimes trying to be as diligent as we're going to ask our clients to be. So just wanted to throw that out there. Know that I'm with you. I'll help in any way I can, and I continue to hope that you participate in office hours. In terms of the diversity and use of self-paper, I think, I shared a little bit about it earlier this week. It's a 3 to 5 page paper, excluding your title page and excluding your reference page. I think you're going to need close to all 5 pages to get it done. I think that it's important to list aspects of your identity in whole, but then dig deeper into maybe 2 or 3 of your roles. Talking about your group memberships is important, and sometimes describing that group in a sentence is important. Family values can be, sort of a sensitive area for some. But I think that family values, and to a certain degree value transmission, might be able to be discussed. To be honest with you, there's a lot here. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Well, 7 different areas, excluding compare and contrast. To be perfectly honest with you, I think that you could probably do about 4 of the 7 well, okay? For those of you who are seasoned writers, you might be able to combine some. But what I'm looking for are subject headings for each one of these that you discuss, and I'm looking for a little depth on 1 or 2 of the identities, memberships, values, transmissions, positionalities that you discuss. And by depth, I mean I'm going to look at your sentence, and then I'm going to look for 2 or 3 things under that. So, and I hope that this is consistent with what I said in my earlier video. I probably didn't say, I don't expect you to do them all. But to be honest with you, you can spend a page on identity, a page on group membership, a page on family values, a page on value transmission, and then a page on comparing and contrasting. The other piece is that this should refer to themes from readings from anywhere between 1 and week 6. I do expect to see citations, and generally when I think about identity, memberships, values, value transmission, positionality, there is context in the readings on these. And so I expect those to be cited, and if you want to be extra special, you can also cite the page. I hope you do enjoy your time with your classmates in terms of comparing and contrasting. Again, the presentation will be graded on the understanding of your identity, so that's the depth part. It's really important. How your identity influences your professional life. So if you want to carve out a subheading for that and be specific, please do. If I got to search for it, then maybe it wasn't as prevalent as it needs to be. And then a demonstrated ability to compare and contrast your identity with others. And really, again, I don't expect you to do 4 or 5 things with that. I would expect maybe a couple when you're comparing those that, and there might be one where there's some similarities, and then one where there's some differences. But if you're able to do that for a couple of them, then that's all that I can expect. Genograms. In week 8, you will be taking part in a genogram with your triad. Creating and using a genogram is excellent for mapping clients' families once the relationships are drawn, the visual representation, etc., etc. So you're going to gather information about your family for 2 generations. Try to get as many of the following as you can. Then you're going to meet with your triad on your Zoom, or you're choosing collaboration in your meeting, and complete the following. Draw and share the genograms. Try a genogram for interviews. Theme identification. I'm thinking that there's some creativity here, right? First of all, hopefully what you're doing, and this is a strategy that I'm just recommending, as you are thinking about some of the things from this diversity paper, certainly you might have had a piece of paper beside and start thinking about, genogram as well, right? Especially with the values transmission part, especially with the relationships part. You could and here's the thing, working smarter, not harder, right? So it is quite possible that thinking about this genogram and this diversity paper as you finalize it at the same sort of time could save you some time. It's quite possible. The most important part of the genogram is making sure that it's comprehensive in terms of the family. I think that it's important in terms of things like gender. I think workplace are important. I think the connections and how you draw them is important. I think the ability to depict the lifespan, right? Some people do a genogram and it's just one big circle. How can you depict the 2 generations, and within that also depict the lifespan? That's the creativity of a genogram. And one of the things that I will look at, quite honestly, is I'll be like, ooh, I like the way they did that. That's creativity, and that's important. One of the things I want to avoid is everybody turning in the same old genogram. You'll be interviewing each other on your genograms. Yeah, I know that you've got to carve some time out to do that. And what I might recommend is, making sure that you, so that you're invested in the interview, you might think about doing it via Zoom and recording it. I don't know. I'm gonna think a little bit about this since it's on week 8, and I'd love to hear about any creative ways that you think we can make this assignment 1, less demanding, and 2, more fun, and 3, more innovative. I've got this video thing in my mind about how we could do it. I'm thinking like the whiteboard sort of videos, and you actually possibly turn into something where you're drawing your genogram right there in front of my eyes. Like, that would be so cool. So think about how we can do this creatively. Hopefully the creativity will lessen the stress. Please know that I'm with you. If there's anything that I could do, I will. I'm looking forward and hoping that folks participate in the office hours. Foremost, keep your head up. You can do this. I know that you can. We can do it together. All right, take care. Talk to you. Peace.